Apex just released the patch notes for Season 15, and, well, to put it bluntly, they are extremely disappointing. I'll be explaining everything that is changing and everything that is not, so let's get into it. The first thing you gotta know is there are no legend changes listed in these patch notes. This has to be the most disappointing part out of all of this, and I can't remember the last time a brand new season was dropping with no legend changes. One thing that has been rumored is the potential nerf to Seer, but that has been clearly put off as they are about to release his heirloom in the middle of Season 15. Now I gotta be frank here, there's no way the mid-season update where they release his heirloom will come with a nerf to Seer. If they're planning to drop his heirloom at the same time, it just would not make sense. So if you don't know, Apex has a pretty lengthy history of buffing legends before they drop their heirloom and or nerfing them shortly after they receive it. So if anything does come to Seer, I wouldn't expect to see that until at least Season 16. Which is pretty crazy. We obviously know Apex is dropping a new map and a new legend, Catalyst, and yes, they look great. But shaking up the meta is what usually sustains the season throughout its highs and lows. We also can't ignore the fact that other games have been recently released and have taken a percentage of the Apex player base away. Those games are Overwatch 2 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I find it to just be a head scratcher that they would elect to make minimal changes during the time in which they are probably facing the most amount of competition that they have had in years. Regardless, let's move on to some of the weapon changes that they have made. First is the Mastiff is going to return to floor loot and the RE45 is going to go into the care package with disruptor rounds. The Mastiff's ammo capacity has been increased from 4 shells to 5. They widened the blast pattern and reduced the damage per pellet from 14 down to 11. This is the adjustment necessary as it was coming out of the care package in a very, very OP state. The RE45's damage has been increased from 12 to 14 per shot, and the disruptor rounds will increase damage against shields by 30%. Now, personally, I love having the Mastiff on the floor loot. It severely helps the shotgun pool out, but putting the RE45 in the care package kind of feels like a stretch. I mean, I know with disruptor rounds, it will shred opponents, but I don't know. It's still the RE45 at the end of the day, and it sort of feels like it might be one of those care package weapons that players leave behind. We'll just have to wait and see on that. The weapons that will be going into the replicator for the first half of Season 15 will be the Spitfire and the Peacekeeper, so that means that the Havoc and the P2020 will be coming back to floor loot. Yay! There's a few more changes, and one big thing they're doing is changing up some of the energy weapons. Now, the L-Star seems to be getting a small buff where they will reduce the recoil at the beginning of the shot pattern, and the animations to holster the weapon will also be adjusted. Next is the Volt. They have said to reduce the projectile speed, but increase the projectile gravity. I don't really have a clue what this will mean in terms of a buff or a nerf, but I have to assume it will be a slight nerf. And the third change is the triple take, and this is a clear attempt at buffing it slightly as well. The rate of fire has been slightly increased from 1.2 to 1.35, but the choke charge up time has been severely reduced from 1.1 down to 0.75. So this means that you won't be able to shoot it as fast, but when you do shoot, you'll be getting a more condensed spray if you elect to use the weapon with the choke on. The R99 is receiving a slight buff. They are making it so that blue magazines will increase bullets from 24 to 25, and purple mags will increase from 27 to 28 bullets. They have reduced the projectile growth of the Peacekeeper as well. This feels like a small nerf. And they have changed up some of the hop-ups for this season as well. They have added the Anvil receiver back to floor loot and crafting bundles. This will be going on the R301 and Flatline. And if you haven't played when the Anvil was around, it will make it so that you can shoot the gun in single fire. It will consume more ammo, but it will do more damage. They have changed the double tap to now being a legendary hop-up, and they have said to improve the recoil for the burst fire on the G7 Scout with it. Turbochargers also saw a small change. They will reduce the damage by 1 when equipped on the Havoc or the Devotion. The hammer points have been removed from the floor loot and crafting bundles, so that will affect the Mozambique, the P2020, and the RE45 obviously. And this will make it a little bit more manageable for the 5 players who still play arenas. The boosted loader has also been removed from floor loot, and they have removed the kinetic feeder as well. So it feels like a lot of the hop-ups have gone away, which should clean up the weapon pool a little bit, but it will make it so that most of the hop-ups are now legendary. They have adjusted the ring 1 timer from 60 seconds back up to 90 seconds. If you didn't know, last season, they reduced it from 120 seconds to 60 seconds, so it made sometimes taking early fights or having early rotations very, very difficult. So now it's a little bit in the middle. Hopefully that will be much more beneficial for some of the maps this season. A few other small changes to note is that the 3 maps that will be in rotation this season are going to be Broken Moon, Olympus, and World's Edge. We know that the first rank split will start on Broken Moon, and there were really no ranked changes. The only small change is the entry requirement level is now 20 instead of level 10, which just means that hopefully this will make smurfing that much more difficult. Regardless, that is an extreme letdown as the rank system currently is not super great and the rewards are very lackluster. And the last change that they listed is that the gold weapons this season will be the R301, the Devotion, the 3030 Repeater, the EVA 8, and the Prowler. Let me know what you guys think about these patch notes, and if you're interested in mastering your aim for Season 15, well, I suggest you check out this video next. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.